the community's assistance is going to be instrumental in bringing Ms. Guthrie home.
The search for her enters day 12. CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
It is time for this week's edition of the Ask the Mayor program here on your hometown news station, AM 1300 KGLO, and streaming online at KGLOAM.com on our KGLO News Facebook page as well. Mark Ebeling, the Clear Lake Mayor, joins us for show number 2 for you. And show number 1 went well, so show number 2 is going to be great, right?
I hope so.
It will be. It will be. I promise you it will be great. So anyway, month and a half in, I assume you're trying to at least settle in a little bit on the new job here as being mayor.
Yeah, I feel quite a bit better than I did a month ago. I didn't realize all the meetings, and I've got my arms somewhat wrapped around all that. As I've mentioned to you, I've got 3 different calendars: a work calendar, city calendar, family calendar, and coordinating all those was a little bit difficult at the outset, but I think I'm doing good now. Well,
and of course, someone who, if you get thrown in on the council, and you, Mayor, you obviously have a little experience being, councilman previously, but you always have, this is always the busiest time of the year for council and mayor and city staff and whatnot, because you're trying to deal with getting the budget ready and having some workshops and talking about some of the big things that need to be included in the budget, and setting a tax rate as well to decide on that. And I know that the council's had at least one, if not 2 workshops regarding specifically the budget.
Yes, we've had 2 budget meetings, and it has gone very, very well. The city staff did a fantastic job putting it together, and it's a lot of needs are getting addressed, a lot of infrastructure, streets, water, sewer, things along those lines. And it's a good budget, and it appears as though we're not going to be doing anything with our tax rate. So that's a good thing.
That's always a good thing, because, obviously big questions with what's going to happen with the legislature and their decision on property taxes and reforming that, and how that's going to be dealt with cities and counties. And I'm sure that had to be part of the discussion as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. And we're keeping a close eye on it. We're positioned well to weather any storm that comes with that. So, it's a wait and see approach, really, is what it boils down to.
Well, looking back at some of the things from last week's meeting and the Oaks Hotel, that development agreement was approved as it was worked out within the last month or so. And good to see that settled on, and now that project can move forward.
Yes, very exciting. It is progressing. There's a lot of steps that need to be taken before ground is broken, which hopefully will be sometime late spring. And design work is still, somewhat being undertaken. So, yeah. The 7th Avenue is being realigned, so there's vacation of property that the city has to do, and along with that, there was some needed infrastructure that is going to happen as well on the North Shore portion, which is a positive. So, yeah, things are progressing nicely.
And through that whole process, things worked out fairly well. There's some concerns raised by people that have businesses or live in that area. The 7th Avenue North realignment obviously addressed some of that. Parking as well was one of those other factors that people asked for help with that area, and that was something that the city was also able to figure out.
Yes, it was a long process, and I think just about every concern was addressed with the overall design. There might be a couple little things here and there, but overall, yeah, increase in parking for the businesses that are located there. 7th Avenue isn't completely closed, which is a positive. I think of, fire responding, that type of thing. So I think overall it's going to be a good thing.
And with the, the whole redevelopment of that area, which includes the MEC at the back with the surf ballroom right next to it. And if people have not been through that and experienced it yet, they should get in there at some point to experience it. It's a great facility, and it's a great addition to the community.
It is. Winter dance party was a couple weeks ago, and heard nothing but outstanding comments. I don't know the numbers that went through the actual immersion center, but the comments were fabulous. Talked to one gentleman that he was actually a bus driver for rock bands through his years, and said it was one of the best experiences he's ever had that he's seen around the country. So,
well, it was fun to on that. Let's see, what day was that? Was that the Monday? Yeah, it was the Monday after the big weekend. It was the final day of the event. Seeing the families of course, the Valens, Richie Valens sisters have always been very positive and coming to Clear Lake. In fact, one lives now in Iowa. Some of the other, Sherry Holly, I believe, was there. The Big Boppers, J.P. Richardson's, trying to think, great granddaughter, I can't remember which, but seeing those family members and seeing them be able to come to Clear Lake and be part of that event is just an amazing thing. Just that, because first things, that come to mind, well, why would I want to celebrate somebody's death like that? But they've always been very open, and it helps to keep this event going.
Oh, absolutely. It's where the music lives, and the tradition just continues. We want to celebrate everything they've done for the music industry and the impact that they had on artists, going on to the future. It's unbelievable, really.
Let's switch topics here. 4th Avenue, I know that's a project that has been talked about for years, and just get us up to date on where we stand on moving forward with that project.
Well, we are going to apply for what's called a build grant. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but part of that application is what the federal government looks at is, we're going to add sidewalks and bike lane,
right,
not on the street. Narrow it down to 3 lanes, so you have east-west and then a middle turning lane and 3 roundabouts, which I think are fantastic. My first time ever going through a roundabout was a little scary, but I'm used to them and they are fantastic. Just driving from the west side of Mason City here to the east side, a lot of stoplights, but if there were roundabouts, all that traffic would continue to move. And so I'm excited. Hopefully we're able to get that grant, and which will pay for essentially everything. So
roundabouts are a buzzword, though, and I don't know if you've had any feedback on that or not. But looking at the designs from the designers, preliminary designs, it's going to be okay. Those will work out. People, they just need to get a little educated on how those roundabouts work, and then people will be fine, right?
Exactly. Yep, 100%. I know truck traffic is a concern, but they are designed so when you're pulling a semi through, your trailer can go up on the apron on the roundabout. So that is obviously part of the design.
Couple of positions I know the city is looking to fill, and one of those we've talked about before is the watershed coordinator position, which actually will be a joint position with City of Mason City, which I think is a good partnership.
Yes, it is a wonderful partnership, and glad we're able to partner with Mason City in that. And we are very, very close to hiring a person for that position that has a lot of experience, and looking forward to working with them.
Another position I saw right on the agenda from last week is the description of the job description for person taking over for the Clear Lake Youth Athletic League, as the city's taking that over from the people that have been running that for a number of years.
Yes, and thank you to those folks, the Truesdales, for years ran that and did a fantastic job. The city is taking it over through the Clear Lake Athletics and Wellness Center, and they've got a lot of great plans for that, and looking forward to getting those kids out and playing ball.
The council had a workshop session earlier this week, and we're talking with Clear Lake's Mayor Mark Ebeling here on the Ask the Mayor program on KGLO. And part of that workshop session dealt with talking about housing needs and opportunities. And obviously, Clear Lake's been looking at trying to create more housing opportunities here the last few years.
Yes, we had workshop Monday. Yeah, Monday night.
Yep.
One Vision came and presented. They've got, not a plan yet, but a design of a potential housing project, which is in the initial stages. When trying to navigate all the tax credits, workforce housing, innovative housing, and whatnot, it is a little overwhelming for me, but fortunately we have a lot of people that understand all of that, and look forward to see what comes to fruition on that.
Every community, in this area, in this state, in the Midwest, dealing with trying to address some sort of housing needs one way or another. And like you say, it's sometimes can be a complicated process, but it's just trying to find the right things that'll fit for the right places in town.
Oh, you're exactly right. And, we need to look 20, 30 years down the road. What is that going to look like, in the future, not just near future, but years down the road. And so and these are things that are, really haven't come across our plate. We're not the Des Moines and where they're putting up housing left and right. So, we've got to make sure we're doing the right thing.
A couple of the other items on that workshop session earlier this week, talking about a special assessment policy for street projects. And obviously, anytime any of those street projects come up and the council has to hold a public hearing, sometimes there's people that, express their concerns, for lack of better words, on how that will impact them.
It's a tough one. There's no good way to go about it. It's hard to, assess people for a street, but that's what we've been doing for years. We have, a new council. Is now the right time to do it? Quite possibly. Those that have paid assessments in the past, unfortunately, it's a tough one. And there's a lot of work that goes into those assessments. We have to dot all the T's, cross the I's, so to speak. There is a lot of office hours put into that. And I think we'll figure something out.
And it's always, streets and sidewalks are always, the toughest things for property owners to deal with, it seems like, when they have to be in front of the council. But one of the other things from that workshop session, the Lady of the Lake, and sounds like there was a presentation dealing with the Lady of the Lake, and maybe just fill us in on what was talked about.
Well, it's an older vessel and does need some work. New engine, controls. It's going to need work on the hull, and it's a long term. Boat, break out another 1,000 essentially. So I think we're more than willing to work with the owner to keep that up to snuff and continuing to do what he's been doing. And I think it's brings a lot of joy to people. So
brings a lot of people to Clear Lake to take a ride on the boat. Yeah. And is it kind of similar to what is being done with the Lake Theater and what wants to be done with the Lady of the Lake, or not really? Or
I guess essentially. We don't have a firm plan yet on what we're going to do. We need to get some hard costs on things, and kind of go from there.
Well, speaking of down there by the seawall and in that area, the City Park ice rink got used for at least a couple of days before things warmed up. But it was good to see that. It was good to see that be installed. But it was also good with the process. Of course, we had Jessica Wood on here last week to talk about that. A project that was kind of shelved because of some budget shifting around, and she stepped up and helped raise the funds. A lot of different groups and a lot of different individuals, and those are the types of feel-good stories that, help out city government, tremendously.
Oh, absolutely. When, the private-public partnership a case in point right there. And thanks to Jessica Wood for going out and raising the funds for it. Very appreciative. I think it's a really cool amenity. I mean, it just looks awesome. Seeing it with the band shell lit up, and you've got this ice skating rink. It's just a great amenity to have. And of course, the weather warms up shortly after it opens.
That's the way it always works, right? You get something like that, and the weather, it's just well, and of course, we've got another weather impacted event that is hopefully we'll get underway next week from Saturday, and that's because that brings a lot of people to Clear Lake as well.
Yes, hopefully the weather holds out. Forecast doesn't look great for it. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Color the Wind Kite Festival is what we're talking about. And, looking ahead maybe to, next week's meeting, which if I remember right is on Tuesday. The council has moved because President's Day holiday is on Monday, but I know the council's held, some interviews with the candidates who applied to fill the vacancy created when you won the mayor's position, and maybe just get us up to date on that process and how it's went. And will a decision be coming up on, next week's meeting?
Yes. Yep. Tuesday night, there will be a vote on filling the Ward 1 vacancy. We had 2 applicants, both fantastic applicants. Couldn't have asked for more. And very, very fortunate in that regard. And it was a good discussion. And that vote will come Tuesday night.
Good. Anything else of importance coming up on next week's meeting? I know the agenda's probably not been totally set, but
nothing of grave importance
that
I'm aware of.
Filling a council seat is of grave importance.
Well, yes.
Yes,
that'll be taken
always
care
say
of.
that. So,
yep.
Anything else you want to add before we let you go?
Oh, you and Jeremy Ainley on the baby race.
Oh, the commentary.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, the clip I think we posted up on our KGLO News Facebook page, and I know it's on the KRIB Facebook page as well. They had a baby race. Was it a couple of weeks ago now? And it's halftime of the girls' game, and typically Jeremy comes up and we talk about what's going to happen in the boys' game, kind of a pregame interview before the boys' game, and all of a sudden we're just staring out there, and it was hilarious because the one baby had went about 3/4 of the way up toward the finish line, then all of a sudden took a 90-degree turn, and then finally got convinced to go the rest of the way. But and then there was, and of course Jeremy was more than happy to talk about the one that had not left. In his words, had not left the gate. He was just sitting there. I mean, in a seated position, just kind of looking around, and was enjoying their time there. So
yes.
It was. We had fun doing that,
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about having the Clear Lake games on video as well on the KRIB Sports YouTube page. That sometimes you can. We don't have to visualize it in your mind. You can go back and watch it.
Yeah,
So,
but that was impeccable commentary.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. So, Mayor, we appreciate you joining us here for a short time to talk about Clear Lake, and we will try to talk to you next month at this time.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
Clear Lake's Mayor Mark Ebeling on the Ask the Mayor program here on your hometown news station, AM 1300 KGLO. It's 8:50. We'll try to slip in a couple of sports headlines after this.
See the complete line.